Hey guys, it's me setting up from the cabin. I'm gonna play some music on the background. I'm gonna play some Native American flute. So anyhow, I want to talk today about about my post. Like the post I did earlier was pretty much me talking about living life as a sensitive person and navigating life and navigating this fun experience. So welcome to my world, you guys. So you can go like look at the post afterwards. The name of the post is what I've been hiding all my life. And the challenge, right? So hear me out. I am a highly sensitive person, right? There's like a label for it, whatever, right? It helps to kind of describe it better. And there's like different types of highly sensitive people. By the way, 20 to 30% of people kind of fall into those categories. Some are more sensitive, some are less. And it's both men and women. By the way, I have no idea how men navigate this, because even for me being a woman and you sort of allowed to like be more emotional, have more feelings, I don't know, I still felt in most of my life ashamed of it, hiding it. First half of my life or more not freaking knowing what's going on with me. So I was just almost myself shocked from like what I'm feeling and not being able to like understand the waves of it, so to speak. Then last 10 years I started noticing patterns, and I was just almost like this scientist that's like, now, oh, I'm seeing something repetitive. Okay, this is what happens, this is what I feel next, this is what I feel next. And that's how this whole self-care system that I developed happened, because I was just like, I want to organize my life, I want to be able to do life better, right? And then I started sharing it with other moms, because I thought, it's maybe what I've created will help other moms, because I was a mom, right? Like young mom. So that was kind of my thought process, and I started working with moms on that. But then I saw that application of it applies to like different like categories. It could be like influencers who experience burnout. It could be men too, because I started like using some methodology like with my friends and stuff, right? Or like interactions that I had with men and noticing and learning their patterns. And then not so long ago, the last thing was me seeing how this meets the barber world, right? And I was like, okay. So anyways, this whole self-care system was built for me for me first, to just me like get, I would say, not get less, like, yeah, be less overwhelmed and be more organized, and kind of help me come out from this, like if I feel like I'm going down, so to speak, emotionally, and it's getting like heavier, how to like reset. Because the description I would have, it's almost like a circus shortcut, or what is it called? Anyways, it's kind of like, when you open too many windows and then like the device is lagging. That's pretty much like what I would that's how it feels internally. And so I had to come up with ways to help me like get less overwhelmed and come back to, because like if you look at the performance like starts here in the end of the month, in the beginning of the month, right? And then starts like sticking to the brain, so to speak, and your performance gets less, and then by the end of the month it's like, fuck, we're like drowning in all of that, so let's reset. And so it's pretty much like a monthly system that helps you reset, and that was giving me this like fresh mind, because it's pretty much like, I would say, every month is a new life, is a chance to restart your life. And every Monday, because the system is like color categorized for each week, so instead of like having this whole big to-do thing, what I need to be doing, who I need to be type stuff, you just have like a week objective for that week. So it was like creating ease on my brain, you get it, right? So that's kind of how it happened. 4 weeks, 4 colors, let's get through this month, you know, let's do it. And then another month, and then another month, right? So so pretty much going back to the challenge, right? The challenge is some of the sensitive, this HSPs, highly sensitive people, they're kind of like very chill and calm. So like with sensitive people, let me kind of backtrack a little bit. Like, what's going on? You pretty much sense things so freaking deeply. You could look at the flower and be like, oh my gosh, this flower, like, I don't know, scary, and like you're just like scary. You can call it like anxiety attack. I thought for like a while I would call it like I struggled with anxiety, yeah, but it's almost like there's just so many like feelings that could like attack you simultaneously. So it's not, I don't know, I don't know, is it anxiety or what's the chicken or the egg? But pretty much the thing is that you know, you could get overwhelmed by talking to another person, or just wake up overwhelmed. Like, I could probably record a whole another video of like what it feels like, and I think because I don't typically describe it in words, it's hard to describe because I'm so used to just feeling it. So for the lack of the words, it's almost like when you try to describe it in general terms, it doesn't feel that bad. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, sometimes you feel scared, and like people are like, well, shake it off. I feel scared all the time. I feel scared. Come on, and all this like self-help stuff, right? Or like breathe, whatever. Certainly some techniques help, but what I'm saying, when shit hits the fan, it's not just like that. Oh, okay, like I'm not feeling that. It's like, woo, like a whole wave coming over you, you know? I know like there's like people who struggle with bipolar, and for them it's like in periods of time, right? Like some months of the year they have like this wave up, then they go down. Imagine like experiencing like, well, if you're not bipolar you probably can, but just kind of thought experiment, like imagine experiences those waves in a day, like in a short period of time. Like you could wake up like with this feeling, then another feeling hits, then another feeling hits, and it's not every day, it's not all the time. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's less, and certainly self-care stuff and system helps. Okay, you might say, what about your system, Kate? Well, this is the thing. The system works if you work it. Like, you have to be so freaking disciplined and do things and stuff. And the thing is, once you don't feel bad, and once you feel bad, sometimes like you don't want to do things. And I'm not a soldier. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I cannot be like so rigid that I'm like, I promised myself to be like worshipping this R.O.S.E system. I'm not gonna miss a day. I've done those like kind of military style challenges, but it's not sustainable. I just know myself. And so it's like I experimented with the system so much, different variations, you know, over the last almost 10 years. And I specifically had sometimes when I look at the week and like the week color and the theme, like what you kind of focusing on, I allowed myself to have 2 day offs, like Saturday, Sunday, like we don't care what color, whatever, just like live your life, you know. And just because like I couldn't do like I did it like where it would be like every week, like from Monday through Sunday, because there are some people who follow like strict discipline stuff. They say if you miss a day, you kind of like fuck up and it's pretty much you back to zero. There is some wisdom to that, I agree. But I mean, bro, like when you're just trying to like, stay focused on something for a week, I'm not even talking about like 4 months or something. That's like a big commitment right there. So anyways, so there are some sensitive people that they're chill, they know their fears, they know they're overwhelmed, and they freaking sit at home and they don't want to do much, they don't want to go out, they pretty much like accept like that they're like, oh, like, some people say, oh, like, oh no, I don't go to big crowds, I don't go to concerts, like I don't like it. But then there is like this other type of sensitive people, which is me, who freaking got like a very interesting cocktail of of qualities and traits. It's like they're super sensitive and super sort of like everything still affects what applies to highly sensitive person, right? Like they get scared, overwhelmed, and all that stuff. But then they want to do stuff. They are ambitious. They kind of like, oh, that looks good. I want to do this. I want to do this. So imagine like these two kind of almost like personalities kind of like live under one roof. Ooh, you don't want to be me. I'm telling you. I mean, there is fun to that. I absolutely like love the fun parts, and I'm learning to accept it like as a whole. But I gotta tell you, it's like constant like pull and push inside, and there it takes so much energy to do something. It's almost like I do like this, and it takes me like this much to like regulate this thing I did. Like let's say I post a video and I automatically see how like my emotion, like kind of hormones change, whatever, in the body, right? Because hormones are the ones that regulating our emotions. I, for example, could get very excited, like something great happens, like I see, like I put a fun party, right, and I love it, I love the event and everything, and then it takes me 3 days, I can't sleep, I'm just like so feeling like the love of the event, everything, but then I can't fall asleep, like I'm like so excited, I'm so happy, it's almost like I'm 3 days like just like stoked, feeling how great the event was. And you might say, well, I also feel good sometimes after a good thing, but it's just like so intense. It's almost like you can't do anything else. You just kind of sit and like feel that, So anyways, it makes you almost like not want to do, like not want to have bad things, not want to have good things. You just pretty much like want to have it as like chill as possible, because when like the somebody shakes the boat, it's like it's an earthquake, again, not always. If like let's say I've sort of like built up more of I don't know, like in the gaming, like you built up those like blood cells, then you can sort of use up some and still be fine. But if there's more things happening in life, stress, whatever, and something else happens, like things could get like rocky pretty quickly, and you might say, well, why don't you do like some pills, whatever. I honestly, I'm not a fan of it. I kind of like I understand sometimes it can help, and that's why I've been like having so much therapy, and I've done the testing and stuff to see like because for a while I was like, when I was struggling with depression, like 5 years ago, and I was in mental hospital treated for depression, I was like, can you please check everything and like tell me what's going on, like what the, like I'm ready for anything. It was freaking scary, because I thought, well, now they're gonna find out like what's going on, they're gonna put me on some meds and I'm gonna be vegetable. And honestly, the scariest thing for me was to lose my creativity, because like I've read about drugs and like you could lose that, and I was just like, what a miserable existence, right? But anyways, I didn't have any of that. The only thing that they found was that there's this gene that we have that produces serotonin. It's like the kind of a hormone that responds for more like a happy states and stuff. And this gene kind of, I don't know like how exactly to say it, but it's pretty much like needs some help with like happy hormone production. So I supposed to take like the pretty much B vitamin for that, right? Which I'm not right now, okay? But I just remembered about it recently. I was like, I wonder if like, because I'm going through a lot right now, with like um, heartbreak and moving to Texas and stuff. It's like maybe my brain needs more help right now, but it's like um, pretty much, what the doctors said was that it was just a lot of trauma from my childhood and later years that I've never processed, and that kind of accumulated in a depressive state and stuff. The grief, my mom passed away when I was 17, and it was a huge trauma for me that I never like really talked about with my family. We don't talk about it, and it's like it was just like a big loss for me, right? So then moving to US, living here mainly by myself, right? Navigating this life, it wasn't easy. And so after processing a lot of stuff, I noticed like a huge lift off, and I started really implementing my system and practicing it and lead this calmer life for a couple years, like no social media, nothing. And I really felt good, felt calm. But then there is like this part of you that's like, let's add more, because you want to do this, you want to write a book, you want to make videos, you want to do this. Like you kind of start reconnecting with that creative part, and it's like, okay, here we go, So yeah, sometimes I just leave and do stuff and kind of let it pile up, and then sort of go through this more of a cleanup process. But this, I don't know what this talk is about. I'm like thinking what title to put. I'm like, I'm supposed to talk to barbers right now, or what? Oh, okay, barbers, right? Like, so I think I think a lot of barbers are sensitive people too, because a lot of barbers are listeners, and to be like a good listener, you have to be empathetic. To be empathetic, you have to be sensitive. You have to kind of feel people. Everybody's different, but again, I don't know, even being a woman, for me, look how long it took me. I'm 38, right? Like how long it took me to like even speak about it openly right now. And I'm just starting to speak about it because like I don't want to like hide it anymore. And the hardest thing is being rejected for being like that, because I don't introduce myself like, hey, I'm Kate, and I'm like, I struggle with emotions, and like I'm very sensitive person. It's like people actually think I'm very I have very high emotional intelligence, because I did learn a lot about emotions on my journey, so I am good with that, but I struggle with a lot of it still, you know what I mean? So I feel like people know me at my kind of higher, like more stable states, and that's kind of when it's almost like if I am like a little, I don't know, who comes out at night? I don't know, like an owl or something. Like I come out in my good states, have a little bit of interaction, and go back home, and nobody sees what's happening back home. And so when some people who I let close, witness it, I think they get very overwhelmed and scared, because I mean, maybe also sometimes my reactions or things I do could come as almost like I don't care. But actually it's not that I don't care, it's I care so much, and it causes so much feelings and emotions, that I am just struggling to process it, and so I withdraw. And or I could just like try to break something up just so that I could leave it, so yeah, I feel like a lot of relationships got ruptured because of me not being able to sustain things for a long time. Again, like I can't sustain the whole time of my happy face, and then if I don't show my other side, then I'm kind of forcing myself to be out of it, right? instead of trying to explain the person. I mean, I tried, and now I'm trying again because I'm thinking, maybe I'll find online people who kind of like will relate to me, right? Or some of the barbers might be going through that too. But anyways, I feel like I get a lot of judgment and comments of, but like, come on, there are worse things. Like, don't get too serious. Regulate yourself. Come on, go like work out, chillax, don't worry, or like, why do you think that much? That's fucking the most annoying thing. Like when people say, oh, like, I never thought about it. Like, why do you go there? Like, why do you think that? Because it's fucking how my brain works. Hello, like, it's like, I want to find like deep people who I could talk about things like that I find joy in, and not be questions like, oh, you're weird, And I think maybe if I was in university in America, going to like some art program, music program, something like that, I probably would have a good crew of those people. I mean, can I find them through networking groups and stuff? Yes, but it's hard to kind of do all those things being a mom, like a single mom. But like, yeah, pretty much it's finding my people, finding this like nerdy people, sensitive people who find, and again, I myself also don't kind of associate myself with a lot of nerdy people. Like, if somebody's like super into like, I don't know, some weird stuff, I could be like also like, oh, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I really just want to have people who like resonate with me. And I do have some great friends who I'm open with, but because I used to travel a lot, so a lot of those friendships happened overseas. So I have like friends in Thailand, in Russia, in like different countries, but not like next to me where I could like hang out with them, which also upsets me sometimes because it's like I just don't want to leave like this like Zoom life, whatever. So anyways, that's it for today. I was just kind of being open about like who I am, and the things that are kind of define me to some degree, right? And yeah, anyways, bye.